Barry White, with his deep and seductive voice, captivated the world with legendary hits like Can't Get Enough of Your Love, Babe, and You're the First, the Last, My Everything. However, behind the fame was a story few knew. Raised in the tough neighborhoods, Barry fought relentlessly to reach the heights of success. But it wasn't until his death that the painful secrets of his life and career began to unfold. Recently, his son revealed shocking details about past scandals and the dark sides of Barry White's legacy, leaving even his longtime fans stunned. Before we dive into these jaw-dropping revelations, let's take a look at some of the defining moments that shaped his extraordinary journey to fame, along with the struggles and tragedies that almost destroyed him. A tough start to life. Born Barry Eugene Carter on September 12, 1944, in Galveston, Texas, Barry grew up in a family situation that was far from ordinary. His parents, Melvin White and Sadie Marie Carter, were never married, so Barry took his mother's surname. However, as he got older, he chose to adopt his father's last name. Raised in the Rough Watts neighborhood of South Central Los Angeles, Barry was the oldest of two boys, with his younger brother Daryl just 13 months younger. Music was a constant in Barry's life, thanks to his mother's impressive collection of classical records. The music from these albums sparked a deep passion in him, driving him to learn the piano and play the melodies he heard. By the age of 11, rumors began circulating that Barry had played piano on Jesse Belvin's 1956 hit Goodnight, My Love. However, Barry would later shoot down these claims in a 1995 interview with the Boston Herald, saying they were exaggerated by the media. Even though Barry and Belvin were neighbors, the age difference made it unlikely they worked together at that time. The voice that changed everything. Barry attended Jacob A. Riis High School, an all-boys school in southeast Los Angeles. During his teenage years, something extraordinary happened. Around the age of 13 or 14, his voice began to change, transforming from a high-pitched, youthful tone to the deep, rich baritone that would become his signature. This moment marked a turning point in his life. Barry vividly remembered the day his voice shifted. He recalled, "It scared me and my mother when I spoke that morning. It was totally unexpected. My chest rattled with vibrations. My mother was staring at me and I was staring at her. The next thing I knew, her straight face broke into a beautiful smile. Tears came down her face and she said, 'My son's a man now.'" This moment marked the beginning of Barry White's journey toward becoming known for his unforgettable, deep voice, a feature that would later define his legendary status in the music world. However, Barry's teenage years were far from smooth. In his 1999 autobiography, Love Unlimited, Insights on Life and Love, he revealed that he grew up in a cramped home with his mother and siblings. During this time, he and his brother became involved in local gangs, often finding themselves in trouble and causing their mother endless worry. In a candid interview with Rolling Stone, Barry reflected on his turbulent youth. "I'm an ex-gangbanger. I come from Southeast LA," he said. "I didn't just hear about the 1965 riot. I was right in the middle of it. I get the anger and the disappointment people feel. I had it too. My brother had it too until he died in 1983. A man shot him in the heart. He was my best friend, my life, until the day he died. He was night, and I was day." Barry spoke about his brother's deep entanglement in the criminal world, just as Barry himself was consumed by his passion for music. At just 16, his brother was arrested for stealing $30,000 worth of Cadillac tires, a sum worth about $310,000 today. It was during his time in jail that Barry experienced a life-changing moment. While listening to Elvis Presley's "It's Now or Never" on the radio, something inside him clicked. He later said this moment profoundly altered his perspective and set him on a path to the music industry. As he grew older, Barry became candid about his past, using it to guide others. "I tell young people the truth. and a lot of them listen," he shared. "They know I've been to jail. I've never hidden my past, and I never will. I don't want any young person to think they're stuck in that misery." Another defining moment came on his 18th birthday, which also marked the first day of his final year of school. Instead of heading to class, Barry felt a powerful urge to go to Hollywood. Without a second thought, he skipped school and walked straight to Capitol Records headquarters. For hours, he stood across the street, entranced by the energy and excitement of the place, unable to tear his eyes away from the magic unfolding before him. The electrifying energy of Hollywood's entertainment world consumed Barry, sparking an even greater desire to become part of it. Despite having no formal music training or knowledge of reading and writing music, his resolve to make a name for himself in Tinseltown remained unshaken. Barry White's struggle to be seen. Barry White's journey to redemption from his chaotic childhood was anything but easy. Realizing he had to make a drastic change, he made the life-altering decision to leave his gang-filled past behind. In his autobiography, Love Unlimited, Insights on Life and Love, he recalled the turning point during his time in jail. "After 2 months inside, it finally started to sink in," he wrote. "I have to change my ways, or I'm going to spend the rest of my life behind bars." Understanding the uphill battle ahead, Barry knew breaking away from his old life wouldn't be simple, but he also knew it was the only way forward. Just after his release from prison, fate presented an unexpected opportunity, a chance to join a band as a bass singer. Before that moment in 1960, Barry had never considered music a viable career path. He saw this offer as the pivotal moment that would define his future. Eager to grab this chance, Barry dove headfirst into the music world. However, entering the industry wasn't as easy as he had hoped. Even with his passion and early attempts at recording singles under his own name, with backing from groups like the Atlantics and the Majestics, he failed to make much headway. But Barry wasn't about to let setbacks stop him. Determined to succeed, he immersed himself in the lively music scene of Los Angeles, working with various small independent labels. It was through these collaborations that he refined his craft, understood the nuances of the business, and began building a reputation that would eventually open doors for him. In 1965, Barry made his first significant impact on the music scene when he produced Feel All Right for the Bel Cantos, an early sign of his rising influence. His debut single, Man Ain't Nothing, released in 1966 under the alias Lee Barry, showcased his growing versatility. By this time, Barry was wearing many hats, a songwriter, session musician, and arranger, all while proving his undeniable talent. Barry's collaboration with Bob Keane at Deli Records in the mid-60s became a game-changer for his career. As an A&R man for Keane's newly founded Bronco Records, Barry worked with a range of artists, including Viola Wills and the Bobby Fuller Four. But it was his discovery and mentorship of singer Felice Taylor that marked his biggest early triumph. Teaming up with his friend Paul Pelly, Barry co-wrote and arranged several hits for Taylor like I Feel Love and Come On, both of which found success in the UK. These early accomplishments were essential in shaping Barry's standing in the music world. His ability to create chart-topping hits for others not only demonstrated his potential as a producer and arranger, but also laid the foundation for his future success. By 1969, Barry White was starting to gain serious momentum. He signed on with Forward Records as a producer, expanding his portfolio and career. But that same year, he was also dealing with personal struggles, including a separation from his first wife, Mary, whom he had married at just 19. Despite the challenges in his personal life, his professional path was on fire, paving the way for a string of game-changing achievements. Barry White's rise to stardom. By the early 1970s, Barry's career was on the cusp of a major breakthrough. His big moment came in 1972 when he discovered and produced a girl group called Love Unlimited. Modeled after the Supremes, the group included Barry's future wife, Glodian James, her sister Linda James, and their cousin Diane Taylor. After training with Barry for 2 years, the group signed with Uni Records, thanks to a critical introduction from Barry's friend Paul Pelly to businessman Larry Nunn. Larry Nunn proved to be a key player in Barry's rise, funding the production of Love Unlimited's debut album, From a Girl's Point of View, We Give to You, Love Unlimited. In his autobiography, Love Unlimited, Insights on Life and Love, Barry reflected on the life-changing moment with gratitude. "I couldn't believe it," White recalled. "Here I was, broke, with a group I couldn't afford to record, armed only with my knowledge of music. And there was Larry Nunn, a millionaire, offering me not just a way to earn a living, but the chance to completely transform my musical life." This was the turning point that launched Barry into a new era. He took the reins as producer, writer, and arranger for Love Unlimited, crafting their timeless soul ballad, "Walking in the Rain with the One I Love." The song was a massive hit, climbing to number 14 on the Billboard Hot 100, number 7 on the Cashbox Top 100, and number 6 on the Billboard R&B chart. It also landed at number 14 on the UK Singles Chart, making Barry's first million-selling single. In recognition of its success, the track was awarded a gold disc by the RIAA in July 1972, cementing Barry White as a true powerhouse in the music industry. With Nunez's backing, Barry White was finally able to release From a Girl's Point of View, We Give to You, Love Unlimited. This album became a groundbreaking moment in his career. The standout track, Walkin' in the Rain with the One I Love, hit the airwaves in 1972, marking his first massive hit and propelling him into stardom. At the same time, he formed the Love Unlimited Orchestra, further solidifying his dominance in the music world. The orchestra's track Love's Theme went on to become another monumental success, cementing Barry White's rising influence and status as a force in the industry. Barry White's career was full of twists and turns. After Love Unlimited's success, Barry White's career took a significant turn. When Russ Reagan, who had been instrumental in Barry's early success at Uni Records, moved to 20th Century Records, Barry found himself facing new obstacles. His relationship with Uni Records soured, and he was forced to transfer both his production deal and Love Unlimited's contract to the new label. This shift proved to be a smart move, allowing Barry to maintain his momentum and continue delivering chart-topping hits. In 1973, Love Unlimited released Under the Influence of Love Unlimited, which skyrocketed to number 3 on the Billboard Pop Albums chart. This achievement made history, as the group became the first female ensemble to break into the top 5 since Diana Ross and the Supremes did it in 1970. One of the album's standout tracks, It May Be Winter, Outside, but in My Heart It's Spring, was originally written by Barry White and Paul Peliti for Felice Taylor in 1966, but was reintroduced and became a hit again in 1975, reaching number 11 on the UK Singles Chart. The group didn't stop there. In 1975, they earned their first and only number 1 hit on the best-selling soul singles chart with I Belong to You. The track also made it to number 27 on the Billboard Hot 100 and appeared on their third album, In Heat. This album featured a vocal version of Love's Theme, showcasing Barry's talent for blending lush orchestration with soul-stirring melodies. Throughout the 1970s, Love Unlimited continued to churn out successful tracks, solidifying Barry White as one of the most influential figures in the music world. As Barry's career grew, so did his creative reach. In 1973, he formed the Love Unlimited Orchestra, a 40-piece ensemble originally meant to support Love Unlimited. But Barry's vision for the orchestra went far beyond just backing the group. He released the instrumental track Love's Theme, which rocketed to number 1 on the Billboard Pop charts. This success marked the start of a highly prolific and groundbreaking period for both Barry White and his orchestra. The Love Unlimited Orchestra continued to captivate audiences with several memorable albums, and Rhapsody in White became one of their most iconic releases. The album featured the hit Satin Soul, along with other fan favorites like Forever in Love and Midnight Groove. While they stopped producing albums in 1983, the orchestra remained a crucial part of Barry White's sound, providing the lush orchestration that became synonymous with his music. Barry White's solo career exploded in the 1970s. Although he initially hesitated to step into the limelight, preferring to stay behind the scenes as a producer, his friend Larry Nunn pushed him to release the demo tracks he'd recorded himself. This led to Barry's debut solo album, I've Got So Much to Give, in 1973. The album featured the smash hit I'm Gonna Love You Just a Little More Baby, which soared to #1 on the Billboard R&B charts and hit #3 on the pop charts. Barry's deep, soulful voice and seductive lyrics made an instant connection with listeners, skyrocketing him to stardom. He quickly followed up with a string of hit singles, including Never, Never Gonna Give Ya Up and Can't Get Enough of Your Love, Babe. His commanding presence and irresistible charm earned him affectionate nicknames like the Walrus of Love in the UK and Dr. Love in the US. His appeal spread worldwide, and by 1979, he had scored a massive #1 hit in the UK with You're the First, the Last, My Everything. Seeking more control over his creative direction, Barry left 20th Century Records in the late 1970s and launched his own label, Unlimited Gold, in collaboration with CBS Columbia Records. This move gave him the freedom to further carve out his legacy in the music world. However, the 1980s brought new challenges as the disco era waned, and his once dominant sound struggled to stay relevant. Despite releasing albums like The Message Is Love and Love Songs, only a few singles, such as Change, made a significant impact. The financial strain of running his own label, Unlimited Gold, also weighed heavily on him, forcing him to close it down in 1983. With his career on the line, Barry turned to touring to keep his name alive. In 1987, a new chapter began when he signed with A&M Records. His album, The Right Night and Barry White, produced the moderately successful single, Show You Right, which reached #17 on the R&B charts. Barry's resurgence continued in 1989 with the album The Man Is Back, which featured top 40 hits like Super Lover and When Will I See You Again. The 1990s saw Barry White's comeback, driven by a surge of nostalgia for the golden era of the 1970s. A pivotal moment in this revival came in 1989 with his collaboration on The Secret Garden, Sweet Seduction Suite, with Quincy Jones, which reignited public interest in his soulful sound. Barry's 1991 album Put Me in Your Mix shot to #8 on the Billboard R&B Albums chart, with the title track climbing to #2 on the R&B Singles chart. In 1994, Barry reached a career milestone with The Icon Is Love, which soared to the top of the Billboard R&B album charts. The lead single, Practice What You Preach, gave Barry his first #1 R&B hit in almost 2 decades. While the album earned a Grammy nomination for Best R&B Album, the trophy went to TLC's Crazy Sexy Cool instead. Barry's comeback didn't stop there. He kept collaborating with top artists. In 1996, he teamed up with Tina Turner on In Your Wildest Dreams and contributed to the Space Jam soundtrack with Chris Rock on the humorous remake of Basketball Jones, originally by Cheech and Chong in 1973. His final album, Staying Power, 1999, marked a significant chapter in his career. The title track reached #45 on the Billboard R&B charts, and its success earned Barry 2 Grammy Awards for Best Male R&B Vocal Performance and Best Traditional R&B Vocal Performance. That same year, Barry published his autobiography, Love Unlimited, co-written with Mark Elliott. The book offered fans a behind-the-scenes look at his life and the triumphs and struggles of his remarkable career. Beyond music, Barry White ventured into acting and voiceover work. He voiced Brother Bear in Ralph Bakshi's Coonskin and appeared in memorable commercials, including Prodigy, Good Season's salad dressing, and Oldsmobile. His voice also made appearances in Arby's ads and Apple's first iBook commercial. On television, Barry made memorable guest spots on Ally McBeal, where his iconic music was featured in dream sequences. Despite his celebrated status as the king of romance and creating timeless love anthems, Barry White's personal love life was far from perfect. Both of his marriages ended in divorce, a sharp contrast to the romantic persona he projected on stage. Barry White's love life was as tumultuous as his legendary career. His first marriage, at just 19 years old, was to his childhood sweetheart, Mary. Together they had 4 children, but over time, cracks began to appear. By 1969, the couple decided to go their separate ways, and their divorce was finalized in 1974. That same year, Barry found love again with Glodian James, a member of the iconic female group Love Unlimited. Their chemistry was undeniable, both professionally and personally, and they married in 1974. Their collaboration on hits like Walking in the Rain with the One I Love cemented their powerful musical bond. Despite being hailed as the king of romance for creating some of the most unforgettable love ballads of all time, Barry's own romantic journey was far more complicated. His 2 marriages ended in divorce, a stark contrast to the smooth love stories his music often told. Barry and Glodian's union seemed perfect, both on and off the stage. They released the 1981 album Barry and Glodian, which showcased their musical chemistry and cemented their status as a power couple. They had 4 children together, but the demands of the music world and personal struggles began to strain their relationship. By 1988, rumors of their separation spread, though they never officially divorced. Glodian remained married to Barry until his death in 2003, managing his estate as its sole executor. In the years before his death, Barry was reportedly involved with Catherine Denton, yet his legal marriage to Glodian remained intact, despite their living apart. In a revealing 1995 interview with Rolling Stone, Barry White spoke with surprising ease about his love life, saying, "I'm relaxing, I'm enjoying my life, and I let things do what they do. I've already got one lady at music." This candid remark highlighted his focus on his career and his acceptance of the messy complexities of his personal life, showing that he was content with the way things had turned out. But behind the charm and the unmistakable voice, Barry White faced a grueling battle with his health in his later years. As the years went on, the toll of obesity and other health problems began to take a heavy toll. His half-sister Sandra revealed in The Autopsy, Barry White docuseries, that Barry's last performances were marked by severe struggles. She described seeing him barely able to stand during his final concert and almost collapsing as he left the stage. Despite these signs of distress, Barry was notoriously reluctant to seek medical help, often appearing drained and weighed down by his deteriorating condition. By 2003, Barry's health had sharply declined. His lifelong battle with obesity worsened, leaving him vulnerable to a series of grave issues. He suffered a stroke that left him with severe speech and mobility impairments. Along with the stroke, his blood pressure spiraled out of control, and his kidneys began to fail, requiring dialysis and a potential transplant. However, his fragile state made him ineligible for the transplant surgery he desperately needed. In May of 2003, Barry underwent surgery to place a catheter for dialysis, but his condition only worsened from there. In his final weeks, he experienced multiple seizures, and his body continued to break down. On July 4, 2003, Barry White passed away at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles from cardiac arrest at the age of 58. After his passing, Barry's remains were cremated, and his ashes scattered into the Pacific Ocean, a final moving gesture for a man whose music had touched millions across the globe. Barry White's legacy is a bittersweet masterpiece. Despite his untimely and tragic end, Barry White's influence on soul and R&B music is undeniable. He was posthumously honored on September 20th, 2004, when he was inducted into the Dance Music Hall of Fame, cementing his extraordinary impact on dance music. On September 12, 2013, what would have been his 69th birthday, he earned a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, solidifying his place among music legends. His deep, velvety voice and lush, orchestrated sound have left an unforgettable imprint on the music world. Described by the BBC as having the richness and smoothness of chocolate fudge cake, Barry's voice became synonymous with romance, while his larger-than-life persona kept him in the public eye. In 2023, Rolling Stone ranked him at number 56 on its list of the 200 greatest singers of all time, a testament to the enduring appeal of his music. Barry's profound influence didn't stop there. His legacy continues to be honored. In 2023, his music was immortalized through a tribute on the show Counting Cars, where his iconic car was lovingly restored. Over his career, Barry White was nominated for 11 Grammy Awards and won 2 for his work on staying power at the 42nd Annual Grammy Awards. From his early years as a juvenile delinquent in Watts, Los Angeles, Barry White's musical journey was anything but typical. His first experiences in music came from church, where he sang and played the piano. Despite possessing one of the most distinctive baritone voices in popular music, Barry initially preferred working behind the scenes as a producer and A&R man. His early career was defined by a fearless attitude, constantly pushing boundaries and embracing risks. But everything changed when Barry made the bold leap to become a star in his own right. With his imposing frame and distinctive style, he stood in stark contrast to the lean, youthful idols of the disco era. Refusing to conform to conventional standards, Barry became an icon, unapologetically embracing his unique persona and captivating audiences with his raw, seductive energy. He embodied the producer-turned-celebrity archetype, representing urban music's soaring aspirations and opulence. Barry White's music was a lavish spectacle, often marked by grand orchestral arrangements that screamed luxury and excess. His signature blend of lush, sweeping strings and soulful vocals broke new ground, crafting a sound that felt both deeply personal and overwhelmingly expansive. Songs like Can't Get Enough of Your Love, Babe, and You're the First, the Last, My Everything demonstrated his unparalleled ability to stir intense emotions and set a mood that was unmistakably romantic. But Barry White's impact went far beyond just his music. His distinctive voice, with its deep, resonant tone and irresistible charm, remains a hallmark of romance in music. Even today, his timeless hits continue to captivate new generations of fans, cementing his legacy as a musical icon. Legal troubles. As Barry's life wound down, his relationships added an extra layer of intrigue and complexity to his legacy. Despite his relationship with Catherine Denton, his legal marriage to Glodian James remained intact. This tangled web of love and loyalty became a source of controversy, especially with Barry's extensive family and the ownership of his considerable estate. Over the years, Barry fathered 9 children, 4 with his first wife, Mary, 4 with Glodian, and 1 more, Denise Donnell, born in 1962 to Gertha Allen. Denise, who only learned about Barry being her biological father in 1988, later took his name and was treated as one of his own children, benefiting from his wealth and fame. When Barry White passed away in 2003, his estate, worth a staggering $20 million, was legally inherited by Glodian as his recognized wife. However, this left Catherine Denton, Barry's partner at the time of his death, with no claim to the inheritance, sparking a series of legal battles and bitter family disputes. The most publicized conflict occurred in 2017 when Darrell White, Barry's son from his first marriage, filed a lawsuit against Glodian. Darrell accused her of denying him his rightful inheritance and mismanaging the estate. He claimed that despite his father's wishes, he was excluded from the inheritance, facing severe financial hardship, and was left close to destitution because of Glodian's neglect. But Darrell wasn't alone in his fight. In 2016, Barry's daughter, Denise White, filed her own lawsuit, accusing Glodian of dissuading her from claiming her rightful share of the inheritance, despite prior promises that she would receive her portion of Barry's fortune. Denise claimed that the payments she'd been regularly receiving from the estate suddenly became erratic before completely halting around 2015, throwing her finances into chaos. She revealed that checks from the White Family Trust simply stopped. And to make matters worse, she was shut out of family events, including Barry White's exclusive annual birthday bash on a luxury yacht. In her legal filing with the Los Angeles County Superior Court, Denise laid out her case. She insisted that Glodian had guaranteed her a portion of the estate, pointing to a history of substantial payments from the White Family Trust, including a massive $100,000 in 2007 and $647,191 in 2008. In total, Denise had received over $350,000 before the money came to a screeching halt. She demanded a full accounting of the estate's income and sought damages for the sudden cessation of payments. But the drama didn't stop there. Catherine Denton, Barry's partner at the time of his death, also entered the ring, claiming she was entitled to money and personal items Barry had promised her. Denton, who had just given birth to a daughter a month before Barry's passing, insisted the child was his. If true, this could have had a massive impact on the estate's distribution. But after paternity tests disproved Denton's claims, she lost her case in court. To add another layer of complexity, Barry White's will, written 8 years before he even met Denise, did not account for her at all. Barry White's legacy, much like his music, is filled with twists and turns. From the heights of his fame during the disco era to the complex legal battles that followed his death, his life was a mix of extraordinary success and tangled personal struggles. The drama surrounding his estate is a stark reminder that even the most iconic figures face a darker side when the spotlight fades. What are your thoughts on the ongoing family feuds over Barry White's estate? Share your opinion in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more stories about legendary icons like Barry White. And don't miss the next video on your screen. Trust us, you're going to love it.